Hi, so I'm Sam Thorpe, Into Alignment. Now, usually I will do some kind of Facebook Live recording or make a video all on my own when I'm sharing something that I want to share with my group, Conscious Health Revolution. This time I am sharing with everybody my dear friend Karen Flaherty, who has been my accountability partner or accountability buddy as we've been writing together. So just as a brief introduction about why I want to share Karen with you. Karen is an expert and has between 9 and 10 years experience in human design. Now, I was introduced to human design some years ago as part of another training. It was actually introduced in my level 3, I think, advanced EFT training. And I was quite interested. I'm always interested in something that gives us a framework or gives us some way that we can understand ourselves a bit better. But what I found was that after initially the kind of introduction and being quite interested, it seemed to be used by the people that taught me as a sort of a pigeonhole kind of thing, in a way of restricting, a way of saying that you're like that and you're like that, and kind of assigning traits, which I don't have a problem with, as long as I can use that information to help me understand why I think and feel the way I do, or what I can do to solve my problems. And it seemed to be more of a label, so that people could say, oh, you're one of those, oh, you're one of those, and then kind of almost sit in the knowledge of what we were going, oh, well, I'm one of them, that's why I do that, or I don't butt in because I'm a reflector, or I don't do this because I'm a that. And I just thought, that doesn't really help me. So I kind of lost interest. And then when I was looking for an accountability partner, I came across the post that Karen had put, and I thought, well, I am interested in this and I'd like to know more about it. And I have to say, as I've shared the experience of writing with Karen, I have really enjoyed learning more and more about it. I've had my human design chart done again, all fresh, and had an amazing time. I won't say eye-opening, but kind of heart-opening reading with Karen. So I decided that now she's written her book and that book is out, I would like to share Karen and the book with people, because I think it is really good stuff and a really good read. So without further ado, this is Karen.
Hi, Sam.
Let's start really simply. Tell me a bit about yourself, or tell the people I'm sharing this video with a bit about yourself. I said 9 to 10 years experience. What is your experience?
So thanks, first of all, so much for interviewing me and having me in your group. And I'm so touched that you were had your heart opened because of human design and what we discussed together. It's been heart-opening for me as well over the last 10 years since I've known about it. And I've been working with clients for 9 years, and I can tell you that that's been their experiences also. And that's part of the reason I wrote the book, is because there are so many experiences of people who have learned about human design, either through me or through other people, and then been guided to be more of themselves, to be, almost the better version of themselves that they knew that they could be, or they thought they could be, but that they were holding back from doing. And once I, as you so eloquently said, put a few, not necessarily labels, but let them know and affirmed for them the traits that they actually had, then it became much clearer for them. And it was life affirming, really. It was something that they kind of knew inside, but they just were afraid to say or afraid to act on. And so that's what makes a big difference for my clients, and that's why I wrote the book.
I have to say, I can't share something with people unless I feel authentic and I'm very transparent. And people that know me know that one of my things is about being me, being seen as me. And one thing that really moved me in the reading was that I felt really seen, genuinely seen for all that I am. Mm-hmm. And even now it makes me emotional. Mm-hmm. And I was stuck on a few things at the time. And when we did the reading, it was almost like having permission to be those other things, the bits of me that I wasn't happy with or was kind of struggling with, mm-hmm. and helping me understand actually this is who I am, but it's okay to be those things. Right. And to then actually have a framework to move through that, or to be able to kind of take the information and do something with that. That was really amazing for me.
That's cool. And it's great the way you said it that way. I was actually reading an article about Lady Gaga last night and how she kind of came into her being. And I've actually run her chart, which is really pretty interesting. Of course, she's an individual. She is somebody who lives her own life. And but she didn't feel permission to do that until she basically got more in touch with herself, right? And then it's almost like she wears the costume, she says, but that's her also. So she doesn't want people to see her as separate, right? So she is the individual. She does really outlandish things, but to her, that's okay because that's all of who she is. In other words, the crazy outfits, and then the way she is in this new movie, A Star Is Born, which happens to be coming out, I guess, is one and the same person. So she gets to be all of that. And really, isn't that what we kind of want to be? I want to be all of me. I want to be, and just like you want to be all of you, right? I'm kind of nerdy. I love reading. I love investigating and all that stuff. That's part of me. But I also like dressing up and going out and doing speeches and telling people about human design. So yeah, that's all of me. I can have my head in a book and be very content in a bookstore, or I can be out with people. And I suspect the same thing of you, that, and each of us, that there's this, part that we know intimately and that we don't necessarily share, but that's okay. We can let people know about that, because within each chart, there's the you that you really know quite well. It's a little more conscious, we call it. And then there's the you that's a little less conscious. And so some of those things we kind of hide under the rug, or we think other people don't want to see for some reason, but really it's the whole of you. It's everything coming together. And once you're able to then, it's almost like a lotus then opening. It's all of you and it opens. And then you're able to be yourself, wholeheartedly, whole brainedly, it's just like all of you. And it all comes out as one big, here I am, right? And so isn't it
what
nice
I noticed
all that stuff?
Absolutely. I noticed that in allowing myself to see those, I suppose you might call them shadow parts that I've struggled with or not realized were there, but when I've been going through something that I've not had the answers to, and it really took me out of fear, the fear about how I might handle it or not handle it, or the fear of the consequences of things, seeing the totality of my authentic self, of everything that I was, and almost like seeing it all as a gift, all of those traits, really took me out of the fear, which was incredible, very powerful.
Yeah, well, and those fears are really holding us back. And in fact, I'm doing a webinar about it in 2 weeks, called "What's Holding You Back?" or are you ready to let go of what's holding you back, really? And it's those fears, because the what we consider to be the weaknesses in our chart, the things that if you call them shadows or weaknesses or traits that we're not quite as happy with, and usually it's because of the culture that we grew up in, right? It's other people saying that those things aren't cool, and so you don't want to feel them too much, or acknowledge them too much. And so in the book I say, look, we're all this piece of a part, right? It all comes together, and you can be okay with all of it, but the fears that come up, they're usually for specific reasons. And so what we're able to do in the chart is actually take a look at what those fears come from, where they emanate from, if you will, because I can see them. I can see them in the chart. There are specific, what we call gates and channels. Some of them have fears, anxieties, or other ways of creating nervousness in our system. And that's what we can take a look at. We can call them what they are, and then say, oh, so you have a fear of the future, or you have a fear of the past, or you have a fear of success, or a fear of authority. Those are all fears and anxieties that are in the chart. And once we take a look at them, to be honest, once we take a look at anything in the chart, it's that awareness that then it kind of dissipates the fear. It may take a little while for some of them, of course. Some of them are pretty well entrenched in our being, and they have been there probably for a long time. But once you are aware of them, it's a lot easier to let go of them. And so that's what the new webinar I'm doing is about. And really that's what the book is about too, is like how to let go of those fears, how to make choices that are not based in fear, and that once you're aware of the fears, you can then make better choices.
I found it fits beautifully with the work that I'm doing in my new process, the heart alignment process, and working with parts, because my work now is about helping people see that all of those parts that are kind of holding those fears or those experiences that are incomplete are all valuable parts of us. And this is a very inclusive way of seeing those things that need processing. And when we talk about the self and the core self, and then the not self, and seeing how I was behaving when when I genuinely feel that's just not me, but it's clearly a part of me that is behaving like that for a reason. So what I liked about this was it was very inclusive of those not self parts that are actually there because of that fear and are there. And it felt more like an integration of them rather than a pushing away, which is really important for me in the way I work now. This is about self reintegration and realignment. So it was so perfect to helping me see where I wasn't aligned and where I was kind of fragmented with these aspects.
Yeah. So, we like to think that we're all one. And yes, we are in human design, still considered to be all one, but we're each this droplet, right, in the ocean, and we're all unique. And if you look at raindrops, if you look at snowflakes, if you look at our fingerprints, they're all different, they're all unique, and we all play a purpose. And so it's looking at all those pieces within each of us and seeing them as a whole, because by the end of if I sit down with somebody and take a look at their chart, by the end of the time we've talked together, we've pulled out all the wonderful skills and talents and traits they've got. We've also taken a look at what they consider to be their weaknesses or what might be fears. And we realize how they all play together, because they were all here to learn the same lesson, basically. If I look at somebody's, what we call their incarnation cross, their life's purpose, all the fears and anxieties that they might have in the chart, they all play together beautifully. If you've got a fear of speaking, it's only because you're supposed to be out there speaking. It's the things that are in the chart that are there to push us to achieve, to do more, and to, once we find the passion, right, and put it all together and realize that it's totally inclusive and that's the way we were created, then it's not easy, but it's a lot easier to see why those are there and why we just want to step through them. They're just false fears. We can move through them and move on to a happier life, more fulfilled life, more contented life, and do what we're here to do.
And as an aside, I don't want to get off at tangent, but doing a reading for me and Vic together and seeing where our gates came together and seeing how we affect each other in a relationship, where we work together, where we might not work, was incredible, I have to say. But I don't want to get off into that because there's a whole other area about doing couples readings and other relationships.
Yeah, couples too. I mean, couples come together for different reasons, and usually they're pretty amazing reasons. And so it's really fun to look at those kinds of things too. And the same thing in families. I mean, the children come into the specific parents for a specific reason usually. And, some of us like to say, oh, poo-poo, but it's true. We're all here for a reason, and we all came in picking our parents, as far as I'm concerned. But that's, again, another
kinds of people that will be interested in their family readings. Okay. So what I want to ask you is, you have just written a book. It is called Getting to Know You, which is absolutely perfect title. It's not a book for people who already know human design, okay, although it would be useful for them, but it can be. This is a book for people who would like to get to know themselves. So what can people expect from the book?
So what I think you can expect from the book is that, and what people are finding through the reviews that I'm getting, are that once they read it, they feel a lot more comfortable with themselves and they feel ready to learn more, right, about themselves. And so it's basically, as somebody said, it's like sitting down with me and having a chat over nice coffee or tea, and being able to find out, oh, what can this do for me, and why should I care, and really what's in it for me.
Okay, that's good. I like that. So I also wanted to ask you, because it was something that came up, is why now? Why is this the time for this book? Not just for you, but for us and for me. Why is it now for the people that might want to get it?
Well, for a few different reasons. I felt like I was at a point in my human design career where I had enough experience, enough stories to tell people about myself and about my clients that it made sense, that I could pull it together in a way that made a good story. And so it's a description of what my clients have found and how life affirming it's been for them and how they've been able to make better choices. And then it's also about, it's also the time, because I feel like there are a lot of books out there that are basically manuals about human design, which obviously serve their place. And it's all about helping the teachers like me figure out how to talk about human design. But on the other hand, there was nothing out there for the person who just wanted to dip their toe in and find out a little bit more about it. So that's why I wrote it.
Yeah, good. So just to give some dates and information, so the book's only just come out. It's been out on Kindle for is it 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
Not very long.
Yeah.
And it's at the bargain price at the moment on Kindle for 99 cents. Now I had to clarify with you before that, 99 cents, that's less than $1. Just make sure I understand my American money. 99 cents is less than $1. So if you're lucky enough to see this video while it's still at that price, I would definitely recommend it. I would still recommend it at the full price, which is $8.99. I think it's going to be.
Well, when the paperback
and it's
out
in print.
In print,
and the paperback will be what when that?
That'll be next week, next Monday, the 15th, and it will be $8.99 US.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so that's on Kindle at the moment for 99 cents and out in print and on Kindle in less than a week. Yeah, next week. And you mentioned a webinar. You're doing a webinar. I've got down here October the 22nd.
Yes.
That's a free webinar, which is an introduction to what's holding you back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So getting into more of the theories and principles that are in the book, and being able to flesh them out and actually allow people to ask questions about them.
Okay, brilliant. So we will put your details with the video as well, but just to explain to people also that when they get the book, there's links to be able to get a free audio version of the book as well, read by yourself, which is brilliant.
There is.
Very nice, calming voice, I have to say, lovely to listen to. Also, they can go to your site and get a free chart. Okay, so they can put their details and get a free chart. So, and a free, do they get the PDF of the thing? No?
Of the principles? It'll be available, yes.
That'll be available. So, I mean, that's tons of stuff, and I've been so honoured to be a part of your journey. It's a good thing for me that you are ahead of me. I'm a bit behind, but it's been amazing to see you forging ahead, getting that information out, and I just absolutely love your passion. I love the way that you've helped me with my writing and where I've been stuck and where I've not known what to do. Or where I've just been kind of unhappy with myself with where I've got to, how you've used your understanding of me to know exactly what to say to help me, it's not pacify me, but help me get out of my rut by just spotting those traits and saying, yeah, but that's okay, because that's what that's like for you, and it's okay, and giving me ways out of that empower me to be able to move forward. That has been so invaluable to me, to be able to do that, and to know that I have that understanding now, that when I spot those kind of traits or spot those behaviors, just to be okay with myself and understand what's going on and understand what I can do about that. And for me, that's really our health and our happiness is all based on that empowerment to understand what's going on and understand what we can do about it. So I'm really excited.
And understand what a beautiful soul you are, and that you're here for a really good reason. And we all need you, Sam.
Thank you. So yeah, there are so many people that I want to share you with. So I'm really proud, really excited to put this out, and I'm going to share that on all my media, because I really want people to get the benefit of this. So we'll say goodbye for now. We'll put the links and the information with the video. If you've got any questions, obviously you can get in touch with myself, and Karen's details will be there as well. Okay. Thank you, Karen. Do you want to say anything else to conclude?
Thanks so much for talking, Sam, and it's been heartwarming for me, and I'm so glad it's made a difference for you. And I hope it'll make a difference
Thanks,
for
really
our clients too. Thank you.
Yeah, too. Yeah, thanks.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so I'll let you